So now we understand the mystery, we have solved the mystery, how to kill our practice. The three ways which we have learned from CA Anilji: reinvent, reinvent, and only reinvent yourself. I would request CA Shyam Agarwal to come up on the dais and offer a memento to the great speaker, our own Central Council member, CA Anil S. Bhandari ji, for the wonderful speech. I must say you don't mind that we have interrupted your speech in the meantime. Thanks a lot, sir. So now everybody is waiting for the empowerment, your practice through technology. How it can be done? So for this I would request Debajit Roy ji, please come up on the dais for the deliberation on empower your practice through technology. So I would request CA Neeraj Rodia to come up for welcoming our great speaker, Mr. Debajit Roy, for deliberation on the topic empower your practice through technology. Please give a big round of applause for welcoming Mr. Debajit Roy. Over to you, sir.
What Debajit is doing and what his company is doing is really exciting. What we need today is managing our clients at the click of a button. How we can manage our clients, how we can manage our work, how we can manage our team, how we can delegate our work, how we can meet deadlines. Like all these are burning questions which we are going to see in another maximum 45 minutes to an hour, and then we are ready for lunch. But I can tell you, sir, that after post lunch we need to join back very quickly, because we'll be talking about all the different opportunities. We are going to talk about how we can do accounting sitting over here for the entire world, and definitely the last session we are doing really good, where we are talking about all the startups, and we have all the best panelists over here. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Thank you. For Debajit.
Well, good afternoon everybody, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. Well, I mean, from morning we have been hearing about many things. You know, we have been hearing about change, we have been hearing about technology to some extent, we have been hearing about how we can, kind of transform the practice, how technology can help. And I have been hearing about, banks a lot. Okay. Now, I think quite a few punch lines or punch points which I had brought in my presentation have already been taken over. Okay, so I would shorten my presentation in that context. However, let me, put things in perspective. I will actually touch upon such points which you may have already heard, but I would put some perspectives around it and then see how we can kind of understand that what kind of technologies are coming up, how will it help you, what you can implement to transform your profession, your practice. So this is basically the agenda. Well, one thing which we have established very clearly is change. Okay, so change is something which we have established that we have to embrace it. Okay, now what is that one thing that will be a game changer for your business today? Can you come up with something? Well, let me help you out. Let me put across few questions, which you know the answers for. I'm sure you have thought about it and you must be practicing many of them. But these are thoughts I am putting in perspective again. I'm saying that, that whether these questions have come to you and whether you have got the answers, whether you have changed yourselves accordingly or not. Okay? So, more business, we always think about it. Especially for the fraternity, we always think that we should have more than 24 hours in a day. And we always need great clients, but let us be realistic, do we have great clients? Well, would you say talented people? Everybody is talented. Maybe better technology. Right? Let us look at some more questions. Can you imagine life without Google? Do you even remember, how people used to search without Google? You don't even remember actually. Can you imagine your life without email and smartphones today? Do you remember the days before e-filing came in? Most of the young people won't even remember. They won't even know. Can you think of manual accounting or life without Excel while Mr. Pogalia is here? You cannot, right? Do you use e-commerce portals today? Electronic banking and latest in the line, which Anil Bhandari spoke about, aggregator business. The best of the examples. Now, what exactly is this telling us? Again, putting things in perspective, it is telling us that we have changed, okay? And this has become part of our life. And we have embraced change with time, whether we like it or we do not like it, right? So, keeping that in mind, I'll just share a small future story related to an industry which people spoke about just now, which is again banking. Whether bank will exist or not, whether concurrent audits will exist or not, I cannot say. But then this is what it would look like in few years' time, or maybe not so many years. Very, very close we are with that. This is something which will come very quickly to you, in front of you, okay? Which means what? And this has come up in a research study by one of the renowned international firms on financial services sector. Now, let's say you are a bank executive, okay? And maybe in one of the not so sought after banks in India, okay? With all due respect to them. Imagine that you are competing against a truly global, multi-service, low-cost, digital bank. Okay? Underline, digital bank. Customers accessing their account, which today also we do. Anil Bhandari very clearly said that, we do not visit branches, and we all agree with him, right? So we do access our accounts through mobile phones, smartphones. Now imagine, okay, customer accessing their accounts through their mobile phones, paying with a tap on their wearables. We all use it. Many of us use it, wearables. So they are actually transferring funds using wearables from their savings to ETF, exchange traded funds, ETF portfolio, which is actually designed by artificial intelligence engine. Artificial intelligence engine, it is designed by using what? The savings goal of that customer and his risk appetite profile. So all this put together, what is happening? Everything is in his wearable. So his accounts, so let us, again, what is happening? Digital bank, everything is in his wearable. He is able to see his accounts. Okay, he is transferring money cross border without any fee. Okay, so this is going to happen, and today it may not be there. But just imagine what will happen after that. What will happen to the concurrent audits? This is going to happen. Okay, so what are we talking about? Now, it is basically talking about what? It is basically talking about no or nimble footprint. It is basically talking about costs coming down to almost zero. So it is consumer oriented. So everything which we are seeing now coming up with technology is consumer oriented, right? This reminds me of another example. When I was doing my management, information technology professor in the 1990s I'm talking about, okay? He gave me an example that, think about you are a senior executive in a company, you are traveling from your office to point B where there is a meeting, and then there is, a customer C where your team is sitting and they need your approval to sign a deal. The payment will be transferred after that, and you need inputs from office, from the finance team before you can approve something, and you are on the road. 1990, somebody told us this, to imagine. Okay? Now, that time there was no concept of tablet, there was no concept of Wi-Fi, right? But that is today happening. Do we agree? In 1990 somebody said that, but today it is happening. So what I spoke about digital bank, or what Mr. Anil Bhandari spoke about, is going to happen. Not very far, right? The competitor I spoke about does not exist today, but in next few years it is very, very real possibility. Now most of the executives in the corporates, they look towards the IT departments to improve efficiency and facilitate game-changing innovation, while somehow also lowering costs and continuing to support the legacy systems. Now, we know about this technology startups, right? Now they are getting to disrupt multiple industries. We heard about disruptions, and they are going to disrupt multiple industries. They are going to encroach upon the established markets. Now I am trying to establish here that the technology is going to play a big, big role in actually encroaching in everybody's business, right? What are the customers looking for? The customers have their expectations set. They are looking at other industries. So something related to the financial services industries, people look at chartered accountancy as well, financial services. Now, the expectations of the consumers are set by examples from other industries, right? So that is where I am coming to. Now, look at, digital empowerment in the retail banking. It has started. It has just started. They have not yet arrived. While they may be thinking that they have arrived, but they have not yet arrived. There have been challenges and there have been solutions, technology solutions. There have been ERP implementations, CRM implementations, business intelligence, XYZ, core banking, whatever they call it. All this have been sorted out, and we are able to get services without visiting branches. So this is something which is achieved. So digital empowerment has happened there. And to actually link it up to our, to the fraternity, to the profession here, things have changed here as well. Today, people are expecting you to serve them, without visiting their office, right? So that is something which is very, very plainly understood and accepted. Now, what are the biggest concerns? The biggest concerns the industry leaders or the business leaders are facing today. Speed of change. The speakers who were here, they spoke about it. Speed of change. Mr. Ranjit Agarwal spoke about it. Mr. Anil Bhandari spoke about it. That is something I'll give you some examples. And who is driving the change? Technology is driving the change. Now, it took, in United States, it took 76 years for telephone, the normal wired telephones to be adopted by half of the population of the United States. 76 years. Compared to, 10 years it took for the same population to adopt smartphones. So just imagine. So this is the speed of change which is happening. Okay? Now, there is a concept which is coming up, which is called blockchain. How many people have heard about blockchain? Yeah, I'm sure. So people who, blockchain is going to disrupt multiple industries. Okay, I'm not going to discuss what blockchain is all about. But blockchain is a technology which is, it took tiny amount of time from the notebook sketch to the actual business application. It has already been accepted in the market, and it is going to disrupt all industries, starting from automobiles, healthcare, banking, of course, financial services, and in fact, it is being explored for voting. So that is it. I mean, just go through it. I mean, and in fact, it is also, it started off by, hedging the actual currencies, cryptocurrencies. So that is something which is going to come up. Yeah. So now we heard about this concept, or Mr. Anil Bhandari spoke about his aggregation business. Okay. Now, what is this aggregation business is all about? Okay, this is nothing but the concept called sharing economy. Okay, and that is going to sweep all of us, whether it is your fraternity, any industry for that matter. Today, the sharing economy has started with cars, hotels, maybe some other industries, but it is going to sweep everybody. So what is the sharing economy is all about? The sharing economy is all about, somebody, it's a decentralized asset ownership. Okay, it is decentralized asset ownership. Somebody has the asset, somebody is the owner of the capital. Okay, so it gives, how can the economy be shared to give the best possible consumer experience? And the best examples are hotels, the travel, the e-commerce portals, the Olas and the Ubers of the world, right? And the Yatras. Now, so all this is pretty much understood. I have not spoken anything which is new. This is all understood. But what happens? I'll give you a small example. When iPhone new version comes up, what happens? A new, let's say iPhone 7 comes up, what happens? There is a set of people, okay? They will queue up in the previous night, okay, outside the showroom. Okay, may happen here, I don't know, but definitely in Delhi and other places, in US though definitely, right? There are a set of people who will queue up at night to buy those phones. Okay, they want to be the first one. They will buy the phones, and then what will happen is they will share the experience. So there will be other people who will come in, and they will then start buying them. Okay, and then there is a third set of people who will buy them phone, buy those phones when, I mean, I'm talking about iPhone, but I'm talking about the concept of smartphones. There is a set of people who actually bought smartphones. You know why? Because feature phones were not available in India. So these are the three sets of people. Now, where you want to be is your decision. You are going to lose if you sit in the sideline anymore and watch things happen. Watch people take advantage of things. Because you do not have time. I spoke about speed of change. You cannot sit in the sideline anymore and see things change and people take advantage of it. So you either change or perish. So this is the concept. So let us look at some of the top technology forces that will matter by the end of the decade, which is 3.5 years away. Digital becomes the mainstream. Period. Tech will drive the new business model. We are not even talking about adoption of technology. We are talking about it is the mainstream. The public cloud will become the dominant infrastructure model. Well, Asia will emerge as these are findings of our research study. This is something which I am not saying. Okay, so Asia will emerge as a key center of technology-driven innovation. The sharing economy, which I just explained, will be embedded in every part of the financial system, and we all are part of the financial system. Now, this is very interesting. Regulators will turn to technology too. Now, Mr. Anil Bhandari spoke about it. In fact, many of the other speakers also spoke about it. Now, I exactly wanted to make that point which Mr. Anil Bhandari took away, which is essentially the tax filing. There are so many other things, if you think about it in your profession, which will go away. So, what else can you do? I'll come to that. Customer intelligence will be the most important predictor of revenue, growth and profitability. Okay? Now, customer intelligence. Now, there are stated requirements and there are unstated requirements of your customer. Do you understand that? Do we agree with that? I mean, can we have some responses, please? I know it's lunchtime. Yeah? So we know there are stated requirements and there are unstated requirements, right? I'll come to that. Now, if we do not go to the unstated requirements, we will lose our business. Somebody will go there and identify that unstated requirement and address that. Right? Advances in robotics and artificial intelligence will start a wave of reshoring and localization. So what is happening today? You know, the whole manufacturing business of the world has come to China and to a lot of extent to India, Taiwan and the Asian countries. You know what is happening? I mean, this is something which is yet to happen, but it will happen definitely. Artificial intelligence has gone to a particular level where you do not need to, go to offshore sites for lowering your cost. So reshoring will happen. US will get back their manufacturing units. The jobs will be there, whatever with limited, human interventions. But artificial intelligence will actually drive that. Blockchain I spoke about will shake things up. Just mind my words. This is something which actually you all would like to put it up there. Cyber security will be one of the top risks facing financial institutions. I have another slide which actually talks about this, but I would like to touch upon one point. Everybody will have no choice but will work on internet, will work on cloud, and will face the cyber security risks. Okay? It is not only you. Don't think it is you and your customers. Everybody is on the same plane. Everybody is facing the same issue. Now, think about it. If everybody is facing the same issue, then there are experts sitting somewhere, looking at it and working on it. You need to just follow certain standard certifications. If you follow those standard certifications, just don't hesitate because you are not sure about it. Just follow certain standards, adopt it. That's all. Now this is something which I spoke about a little early, called innovation and diffusion graph. And this happens because of two things. One is the human behavior, and the second is evolution of technology or evolution of some innovation. Okay, so this is the graph. What happens? There is a new thing which comes up. Okay, now today the speed is changing, so the time which we are talking about have reduced to minuscule. So essentially today, technology adoption in the chartered accountancy, chartered accountants fraternity is at the peak of inflated expectation. Which means what? It will go down because reality strikes bad at times. So it will go down. There will be a chasm, which means you will realize that these are things which cannot happen. So let me adopt what comes to me. Okay? So that's exactly the point of disillusionment, when the majority of you would realize that I have no choice but to adopt technology. Okay, so this is basically called innovation diffusion curve, and this is something which is scientific. Over a period of many years, this has been arrived at. something, let us relate, how are you going to get impacted? Let us do a brief SWOT analysis. These are based on some thoughts, through a brainstorming sessions of some experts. Okay, what are the strengths? You've got regulatory backing. Would you agree? Okay. Sorry? Yeah. Okay. And your strength is knowledge-based services. So you acquire knowledge and you provide the service. So you don't need to invest capital, right? So those are your strengths. There are many more strengths. I'm just identifying few. Weaknesses. Now this, we spoke about and we all know. The chartered accountants are tied. I'm not a chartered accountant, so I can't say we. I'm sorry. So weaknesses tied up in transactional services. So today we are all focused into transactional services, and this is where we will lose our business. No transactional services will anymore be coming to you. Okay? Or even if it comes to you, you will make very little money on it. Okay? Then we do very little advisory. The chartered accountants do very little advisory. That is where the unstated requirements I'm talking about is there. The customers, you need to know what the customers need, and you do expand yourselves in the advisory area. So, what are the opportunities in front of you? Technology adoption. Why I say that? Because once you adopt technology, you understand what you can do with technology, you would be well equipped to go ahead and advise the customers. Okay? And, newer opportunities like internal audit. With Section 138 of Companies Act, we may not like a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it has given one major opportunity. Companies Act 1956 did not make internal audit mandatory for many companies. Today we have got huge opportunity in there. How many of us are doing it? Threats. We spoke about. Technology can make some transactional services completely redundant. And it will happen. And it is not very far away. So, I will just take a few minutes and talk about a specific opportunity for the CA firms. Okay? In 2015, this is something I have taken from one of the research. Okay? In 2015, the internal audit services market is estimated at 20 billion rupees. 300 billion. So, 2015. Okay? Market is expected to grow 10 times to reach 200 billion rupees in 2016. So, we are in 2016 and the internal audit market has already become 10 times from 20 billion in last year to 200 billion this year. Large companies account for 42% of the internal audit services, primarily serviced by the Big Four. Mid-sized companies offer the maximum opportunity in terms of internal audit services.
Don't destroy.
Accounts for 1/3 of the total internal audit services market to be serviced by large and mid-sized firms. Now that is what you represent. On an overall basis, nearly 80% of the internal audit services will be outsourced to CA firms. This is something which a research is saying, with only 20% being addressed using in-house teams. However, having said that, there is a mandate as per the Companies Act 2013, Section 138. The mandate is certain, I'll just give you some data. The market is 50,000, so it's 260,000 companies as per the guideline which is given. As per the guideline, 260,000 companies in specific need to go through internal audit, and this internal audit cannot be done by internal teams. It has to be done by the external teams. Now, why I said a but there? But how will you take this challenge up? It's a complex job. Resources aren't trained. Why will customers give you the job without any track record? So now comes what you can consider. Now comes how will you empower yourselves. Now comes how you can adopt technology, right? You adopt a cloud-based software to do the job. Okay. Now, if you have a software, you have to look at it whether it can do the job which you are going to take. So I'm talking about now capacity building. Very little investment as it's on cloud. It is on pay-per-use. Resources can be trained easily through self-training modules. You will be backed up by a superb architecture to be presented in front of the customer. So when you go and present yourself in front of the customer, you have something to show anyways. And this gives it, I mean, whenever it is system driven, anybody gets the confidence. When it is individual dependent, people actually lose confidence. I mean, this is something which we understand, we agree upon, right? I mean, in today's world, if we go and present something which is system based or system output, then obviously people, for example, PIN verified, we don't need to sign anymore, right? The checks. When we get a invoice says that it comes out of the computer, you don't need a signature. So that itself says the kind of trust we have got in systems as compared to individuals. So you obviously show a very confident face when you present in front of your customer during business development, right? All output from the software will be global standards because these are all global softwares.